Hello.
Hello.
What is your name and what is the date today?
My name is very much the same as yours, but my name is Joe Lazaro, and the date is March the 5th, 2016. Is that correct?
What is your earliest memory, Dad?
What is my what?
Your earliest memory.
I would go back to about October of 1941. And the reason I say that is that's when my mother was diagnosed with tuberculosis. And I was just a young kid eating breakfast when I heard my mother coughing and coughing and coughing in the bathroom. And I went over and tried to open the door, but she had slumped back behind the door and I could not get the door fully open. But I saw the sink just full of blood. And I ran downstairs. We were living in a two-family house at the time. I ran downstairs because they had a telephone, we did not. And they called the police because there was no ambulance in the city of Garfield. And they took my mother away, and that was the last time I seen her for about maybe 5 or 6 years. So that's the earliest memory that I had.
Tell me where you were born and the different places that you lived.
I was born in the city of Garfield, which is kind of strange because Garfield has no hospital. I'm one of the few people that was born in Garfield, and I was delivered by a midwife who made a mistake on my birth certificate and left the Z out of my name, and I did not discover that until I went in the Marine Corps when I was 17. And that's when I realized that my birth certificate only had one Z. And that's how I had to go in and spell my name that way. And we started a brand new name, and that's why your name is Lazaro, one Z.
How did you meet Mom?
I'm sorry?
How did you meet Mom?
Well, I had a girlfriend that was going through nurses.
And what's her name? What's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Lynn Lazaro. Marilyn called her Lynn. And while she was in nurses training, she roomed with my girlfriend. And we went out on a double date with my buddy Angelo. And I really hit it off real well with her, even though I was there with my girlfriend. And from then on, we were a couple. I went overseas. I was in the Marine Corps at the time. I went overseas to Korea, and we got very little mail call back then, but when I finally did get a mail call, there were about 20 letters from Lynn. And then when I finally got discharged and came home, she was there. Although we only had about 2 dates prior to me going to Korea. That's it.
Describe your different family members.
I'm sorry, what?
Describe all of your different family members.
My family members?
Yes.
My first #1 daughter is Mary Beth. And then Jerry, then Michael, then Angela, and then you, the baby, Joanne.
And would you like to describe each one, or leave it at that?
Well, Mary Beth was the one that started us coming out here to California. When she graduated high school, she insisted upon coming out here to the West Coast to go to college.
Keep going, keep going.
And
Keep talking.
and then I tried to talk her out of it because there were some pretty good schools and colleges in New Jersey, Rutgers, Princeton, and so forth. But she insisted, and she wound up coming out here. And that started it. When they got a call, while I was still in the New Jersey State Police, I got a call from Martin, who I did not know at the time. And he just said, "Mr. Lazaro, my name is Martin Carty, and I love your daughter. And we were thinking about becoming engaged, but we didn't want to do anything without your consent. Now with that, I almost fell off the chair. And I said, you're right, Martin. We haven't met, but I love you already. Just so they wound up becoming engaged, and pretty soon, a couple of months later, August the 8th, 81 was the date. They decided to get married, and that was the date. And they got married in a church in Florida. So we had a big Italian wedding in Florida. And at that wedding, my daughter Jerry was the maid of honor, and Martin's brother Greg was the best man. And they fell in love, and eventually they got married. They got married out here in Montecito. So that was the start. Any more questions?
What about Mike?
Well, then Mike was, at the time, he insisted on not going to college. He wound up going, got a heck of a good job in Sugar Bush, which is a ski resort in Vermont. Now, at the time, I had bought a piece of property out here from Thurmond, and I built 2 houses. And while I was in the process of building the houses, I called Mike and said, you know, I would really appreciate your help out here. So he came out to help me build the houses, and he's been here ever since. And then Angel, who at the time was going to Rutgers University, she graduated, came out here, and today she's got a wonderful job with what used to be Santa Barbara Bank and Trust. She is now the Senior Vice President of Union Bank. And she's one of the few people that Union Bank held over when they purchased the banking system from Santa Barbara Bank and Trust. And my wonderful daughter Joanne, who is going to college right now, even though she's well up there in age, but she's now living at home with me, and she's a sophomore at
Ventura College?
Ventura College, yes. And she takes care of me because I'm handicapped now as a result of 5 back surgeries and 1 total shoulder replacement. So my good daughter Joanne right here, she cooks for me, and she keeps the house nice and clean, and she makes sure I take all my medication, because my wife passed away back in 2008. So Joanne is now more or less my wife now.
Joanne, could you ask him what was it like with his wife passing away? How's it been?
What was it like with Mom passing away?
It was terrible. One of the most terrible things that I can ever remember happening, because at the time she did have cancer, but it was a carcinoma. And carcinomas, I guess it's encapsulated and doesn't spread through your body. And I knew that was pretty much under control. Every once in a while she'd have to go in outpatient and have that removed, which was no problem. And but then when she passed away, it was as a result of a blood clot. And that shocked everybody. And that was back in 2008, July 31st, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Joanne, ask him to tell us about his wife's history, son.
Can you tell us about Mom and her personality and job and her favorite hobbies?
Well, she was a registered nurse. And when she came out here, in a matter of months, she became the director of nursing at the Santa Barbara Convalescence Hospital. And when she passed away, we had an open casket viewing, and I was just amazed at how many people that I had never seen before just broke down and cried when they saw Mom in the casket. And that's when I started to realize how many lives she touched upon, which made me feel good as far as I'm concerned. But she was just wonderful and so close to the kids. She actually, of course, all of my kids turned out to be pretty damn good people. And they can hardly take much responsibility for that because it was mostly my wife that made that happen. She was very, very close to all the girls and my son.
Okay, so you were telling us about your wife. What were some of her hobbies and describe her personality?
Well, she was very Italian, just like me, and she was one hell of a great cook. And at the time, I never, for 20 years, 20 some odd years, I never weighed less than 200 pounds. But when she died, I went down to 168, and right now I'm on my way back up because of Joanne. And I'm about 180 pounds right now. But she was just a person that had so many friends, and she was dedicated as a nurse. She was a nurse for about 57 years, I believe it was. And she worked pediatric, OBGYN. When she came out here, she went into the nursing. And then she used to tell me how similar her duties were when she was in pediatrics. And now she's with older people. But quite a bit of the
Geriatrics.
stuff that she did was very similar.
Can you describe your job and hobbies? What were your
My
favorite
job?
hobbies?
Actually, I never had a hobby. But I started out, I was in the Marine Corps. I was in uniform most of my life. I put 3 years in the Marine Corps. Then I went 2 years. I got federalized during the Berlin crisis when I was working for the New Jersey State Department of Defense. I got federalized and I wound up being 2 years in the Army. When I came out here, right after that, I went into the New Jersey State Police. And I was a cop for about 22 and a half years. And when I came out here to California, it was the first time that I was not in uniform. My first taste of civilian life. And it was a little difficult for me to get used to Californians. Because while we were in New Jersey, I don't ever remember a complete stranger saying hello to me. and out here I'm saying, why are you saying hello to me? You don't know me. But it took me a little while. I remember one time I was in the, before it was Albertson, I can't think of what the name of it was.
Lucky's?
Lucky's, I guess it was Lucky's. So we were in what do they call it when you're in there with just a few packages, the convenient line?
Convenience store?
No, when you were in the line, in that one particular cash
The
register.
express lane?
Yeah, the express lane. So we were behind this little woman, and me and my wife, and I got about 3 items. And she gets into a conversation with the cash register, like, and how's your daughter, and how's your baby, and then I said, hey, lady. So my wife gave me a shot in the ribs with her elbow, and she said, hey, you're in California now. So, like I say, it took me a little while to get used to Californians.
Now,
You get that big.
Then my wife and I came out here finally, and she got a job right away with the Santa Barbara Convalescence Hospital, which at that time was on Pueblo Street. Now it's located on De La Vina. And when they moved over, she went with them and remained as the director of nursing.
My issue was a few weeks ago.
What was the happiest moment in your life and the saddest moment of your life?
Well, of course, the saddest moment was when Mom passed away. That was the saddest moment for just about all of us.
Yeah, that's right.
But the happiest moment, let me think. I have to think
Be
about
careful.
I would have to say it's split between when Mary Beth got married and Jerry got married, and then when Dana was born, and now with little Sienna. I would split all my happiest moments between those 5, 6, 8 occasions.
Who was the biggest influence on your life and how did they influence you?
That's another thing I've never thought of. I don't know who influenced me more. I have no idea who influenced me. When I became a police officer, the New Jersey State Police, that was a real proud moment in my life also. I remember once when we went to Sicily, where my father was born, and I met my Uncle Tosca. He was so surprised. He said, Giuseppe, Mannaggia, how could you, where did you go wrong? How could you become a polizia, cop? Us Sicilians are usually on the other side. So that was a funny moment, but he was so surprised that I was a cop.
Can you describe one of your favorite trips or experiences?
One of my favorite trips? Well, me and my brother-in-law Tommy and my sister-in-law Edith, Lynn's sister, and my wife Lynn, the four of us went to Italy. And we toured, well actually we toured Europe and Italy. That was real excellent time we had there. We went to the Colosseum, we had an audience with the Pope. I met my other cousin, Cataldo Peruzzi, who happened to be a Monsignor, and he toured us through parts of Italy or the Vatican that the average tourist could not go. We went downstairs to the tombs, we're down in the tunnels, and we saw tombs of just about all of the popes. It was amazing what's underneath the Vatican. I met the Commandore of the Vatican Polizia. He was a big shot, and when he heard that I was a New Jersey State Trooper, he gave me a big hug and he said, you know, we have so much respect for you guys. He invited us into his house. We got it and it had an elevator. We went upstairs in the elevator and we had some strega in these in this wonderful glass that's crystal glass and everything like that. And I gave him a little tie tack that I had that said New Jersey State Police on it. And he was so proud to have that. He went and he grabbed books about Michelangelo and his works of art and everything like that. And you still got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a great trip.
Do you have any pet peeves?
Pet peeve? You know, it's a funny thing. While I was a cop, my pet peeve was not a speeder or anything like that. My pet peeve were people who drove too slow and impede the normal flow of traffic.
Something.
You know, and it was as though they were driving along, they couldn't care less about the accumulation of traffic behind them. And I would pull them over and they were shocked. Oh, you're gonna give me a ticket for that, for going too slow? I said, do you realize you're creating all kinds of problems? People trying to pass a no zone because you're going so darn slow. And didn't it ever occur to you to check your rearview mirror to see the line of traffic that you had behind you? It would have been very nice for you to pull over on the shoulder of the road and allow some of that traffic to go by, especially during a commuter rush hour. So that was one of my pet peeves. And I had quite a few other pet peeves.
Well, let's hear some others.
And some more? Want to hear more of those? One of my pet peeves was domestic dispute. We would go to a domestic dispute where the husband was beating the wife because he was drunk and he'd beat the wife. And then when we go to arrest the husband, the wife would jump on our backs and scream and try and attack us like we were the people there that were on the husband's side, you know. And those were the toughest things to handle. Become a referee to fight, or you wind up locking up the husband or locking up the wife or locking up both of them. It was that was another tough one. And well, we had other ones where young juvenile kids would run away from home, and the parents come down and just scream and holler at us because why haven't we been able to locate their children? And it was a very difficult thing to do.
What was your sport?
Because we had no idea, you know, where they were. We didn't get very much information from anyone. We talked to their kids' best friends, and they had no idea where the children were. But there was an awful lot of kids running away from home at very young ages, and we could not, half of the time, we could not find them. But at times we did find them, and it was during terrible situations, you know. They'd run away with some guy that was an adult, and we'd have to charge him with, you know, impeding a juvenile delinquent. So it was a tough situation.
Did you have any pet peeves now living in Carpinteria about anything?
The slow pokes in those lines are still a pet peeve of mine. We start a conversation with the cashier, and while I'm standing there with a couple of 3 packages listening to this guy or woman talk about their children and so forth, and not even caring about the line that they got behind it. That's been a pet peeve of all my life.
What are the most important lessons you've learned in life?
Important lessons? Another one I've never thought of. I don't know. I think just to treat people as you yourself wish to be treated, you know. And yeah, I think that's about the best thing.
Did you have any advice to people how to get ahead in life?
The cut in line?
No, how to get ahead in life.
Advice.
How to get ahead in life. Yeah, I constantly get this from my daughter. She's a sociologist now, and she's becoming a left-wing liberal because she's in college now. So she's giving me all kinds of advice now because I happen to be a right-wing conservative. So, but that's about it.
Ask him what he thinks about the current presidential campaign.
How do you feel about the current presidential campaign?
Well, I'm embarrassed by the Republican Party right now. And when I first started out, I thought Ben Carson was the best candidate. I really liked that guy more than anybody. But he wound up last in every damn, argument that they had. And but now the 3, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, and of course Donald Trump. The 3 of them arguing the way they're just constantly giving a whole bunch of ammunition to the Democratic Party. Should Hillary come up, they'll show those arguments that those 3 guys are having. Now I've gone to Kasich, and I think he would be a wonderful president. And I just hope more people start realizing that he's the guy.
What do you think about Donald Trump, and describe him?
Well, Donald Trump, it's amazing how many people he's got that like him. But there's an awful lot that he says that I do like. but it's the way that he delivers is what is what I don't like. He comes off as like a carnival barker, you know, and
He believes that the boy is dead.
and I hope that he realizes it soon enough and drops out and leaves his people that is following to Kasich, which might happen.
Well, what issues do you agree with him, though?
Well,
One up in Cambria,
being a right-winger,
they
I agree with him with the immigration problems that we have.
said, I can't, and
And building a wall would be a wonderful thing, I think, because of the millions of illegal immigrants that we have. I don't know of any other way of keeping them out. And they come in along with a whole bunch of terrorists that are seeking to do harm with us. And maybe a wall might keep them out, or I don't come up with some other suggestion. I think we got a 3,000 mile border right there. How do we keep these people from coming in illegally? And
river and what's his head bang,
so that's one of the big things I agree with him with.
becomes an eddy there. And he's
That's what,
circling
What is your favorite memory of me?
of you?
Of me? You don't have to answer that.
I don't have to answer.
Yeah. What is your favorite
Should I
memory?
really be honest about it? If I answer? No, she's been a wonderful daughter. I swear she's
asked the boy his name,
she's
remember anything.
she's my the person that I depend upon mostly right now since my wife is gone, and she's come into the house, and she keeps me well fed, keeps the house pretty clean, takes care of my little puppy dogs, and she's all around good person.
Sounds like another volume like
Recount.
Was that satisfactory?
That's satisfactory.
Okay.
Recount a humorous family story.
The sounds
Can you recount a humorous family story?
humorous. I got so many of those. Let me think of one, a good one.
Don't tell the tractor story.
The what?
The tractor story, don't tell.
The what? Which
The
one?
tractor story.
The tractor? Oh, I gotta tell that one. When I was, we had a big piece of property in Toms River, New Jersey. And I had a little 12 John Deere tractor that I used to cut the grass with. I had snowblower attachment and all of that. And the kids used to actually fight over, Dad, can I do the lawn today? And Mike would do it, and Jerry and Mary Beth would drive one. And she was, Dad, I'm pretty good now, I can do it. So I said, all right, Joanne, you can drive the tractor. Well, the next thing I know, she went through our picnic bench and our picnic table, and the tractor was hung up on the table, and she ran for her life because she knew I was out there. So that was one of the funny stories that happened in there.
Tell another family story.
Another?
Yeah.
Let me think, what else? Oh, another one with Joanne. And it would have to do with the tractor. And this time I'm driving the tractor. And she just got done having a brand new pair of eyeglasses.
Oh, God.
So while I'm driving, she decided to show me that she could do a cartwheel in front of the tractor while I'm driving. And she did that, but the glasses dropped, and I went through it with the lawn cutter, and I wound up with just a twisted piece of metal where the glasses, had to go get her a new set of glasses. So that's another story with Joanne. As you can see, I probably got a million of stories about her.
Can you tell any stories with other family members?
Let me see, Jerry, Jerry, when she was about 9 or 10 years old, she was so damn strong. And here I am, I'm in the New Jersey State Police, and I got a gun and handcuffs and you name it on my belt. And when I would come home for lunch or something, she would grab a hold of me and hold me up. As Jerry, please put me down. But that's how strong and she still is today. Oh, no, I wouldn't mess with Jerry. She's tough. And Mike had a bunch of freaky friends. And all these guys, Mary Beth did too. She had a couple of boyfriends and they would come over to the house. And I remember one guy, he had jeans on and no belt, and he had trouble keeping those jeans up. And every once in a while I would watch him slide down and I'd say, hey, pal, when you're in this house, those things better be hung right around your waist. I don't want to see them going south. Yes, sir, he'd say. That was Mary Beth's friends.
Angel?
Angel was a little twerp, and she still is. But, yeah, I remember one time she was only little, and I'm driving, and we were going over to visit my cousin, and we come to a big hill, and she gets all frightened. She says, Dad, there's a hill there, you're gonna crash into the hill. I said, no, that's a road that takes you up. She thought that the car was driving right into the hill and it would kill us. And she was hanging on to me and screaming, Dad, there's a hill, watch it. So that's one from Angel, yeah.
Do you have any regrets in life?
Regrets.
For your great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah, I had a lot of regrets. That mostly with the New Jersey State Police, because at the time we worked systems where we would go off and live in the barracks for 2 or 3 days, and then come home for a day and a half or 2, or possibly 3 days sometime. And before you know it, the kids had all grown up. And that was a regret, that I didn't, spend more time with the kids as a result of that job. Sometimes I'd come home, finally, after working 3 days, come home, the kids were in school. So again, I'd have to wait until they were out of school before I finally got to see them. And the next day, they were back in school again. So I didn't spend much time with the kids. And that is a regret of mine, yes.
What are you proudest of about yourself, and what have you done and what you've done?
The proudest?
Yeah.
Let's see. One of the proudest moments was when I married Mom, because she was such a great person. And then and we had a nuptial mass by a Monsignor of the State Catholic Church. And then I also, when I graduated the New Jersey State Police Academy, because originally there were about 100 candidates and about 35 of us graduated. It was a pretty tough course. And I know it was tough because I also went through boot camp in Paris Island when I was in the Marine Corps. And believe me when I tell you, the New Jersey State Police Academy was tougher than boot camp. So that was another proud moment of my life, the fact that I graduated. And another proud moment was when I was the charter president of the Rotary Club here in Carpinteria, the second Rotary Club. Bill Carty was the charter president of the first club, and who was, I used to call him my brother-in-law. And the way that happened, one day Bill and I were in the back of, on the back porch, drinking lemonades, and I said, Bill, two of your sons married two of my daughters, so we have to be related somehow. So he thought for a minute, and he said, well, how about brother-in-law? I said, I'll take it. From now on, you're my brother-in-law. So Bill Carty put together sufficient membership, I think back in 1973, for the original Rotary Club, which now meets at Lions Park on Thursday afternoons at noontime. And I put together, with the help a lot of help from Janice Sugiyama, we put together the morning club. And I turned out to be the charter president of that club. So I'm pretty proud of that. And we got one heck of a club. We've done so much in the way of providing clean water for so many countries. I mean, we travel to Africa and through the mountains in Mexico and provided filtration systems. And we've administered the Salk vaccine in so many countries to prevented polio. And right now we're in the process of completely defeating polio. I think it only exists now in the whole world in only 2 countries, and they both happen to be Muslim countries who will not trust in the Americans to provide safe Salk vaccine. They think that maybe they're afraid of having us inject or even administering the oral Salk vaccine. But I'm pretty proud of being the charter president of the Rotary Club.
How would you like to be remembered?
I don't know, but being remembered in New Jersey is one thing. I was a cop, and I don't know. And then being remembered here in California, I think as a guy who occasionally visits the donut shop, like every day. And I hope I've gained a lot of friends there, which I do have.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, I don't think so.
For your great-grandchildren listening to this years from now, is there anything you'd like to say?
Years from now?
Yeah, your great-grandchildren, like Sienna.
Little Sienna. I would say, little Sienna, believe it or not, I am your great-grandfather. And I'm still living, even though I'm over 100 years old.
How old are you?
I'm 82 years old right now, going on 83, yes.
Well, good job, both of you. Say goodbye to the camera.
Okay, goodbye, camera. Goodbye, Larry.
Okay, thanks a lot.